I wasn't okay with just having my channel talking about beauty. The toughest part is to not compare yourself. And then there's a whole conversation in my comment box, which increases my engagement. I'm very fortunate. I don't put out very aggressive opinions. I feel pressure when I'm doubting myself. TikTok getting banned really just didn't do much for me. I haven't found another job. I'm just making content.
Hello guys, this is Jerry Singh and today I am in conversation with Sheena. Hi Sheena, how are you?
Hello, I'm very good. I hope you're doing well as well.
Thank you so much. Welcome to Who's That 360.
Thank you. I'm so excited. A little nervous, but I'm very excited.
No, don't worry, don't be nervous. The questions will be easy and breezy. So, my first question is how did content creation happen to you?
Oh, wow. That's a pretty broad question. But I mean, I think since I was 14, I've really liked recording myself. There's a lot of footage of me just trying to vlog because I used to watch a lot of YouTube growing up. But I was too scared and I thought it was really cringe, so I never posted that. And then I think finally 2020 lockdown, I was like, it's fine. So then I started making a little TikTok, and then I think I was like, it's time to make a page. And I was really into makeup. I still am. I love makeup. And that's kind of how I started. But I was in and out of jobs constantly, and I was working until last year, and I left my job last year to pursue content full time. And yeah, I started making content in 2020, and I really started enjoying it so much. And it was, I started with makeup, and then I started documenting my life, and I thought it was just such a cool way to look back and see where I was at a particular time in my life. Yeah, so I think I just kind of fell into it, and I'm so glad I did because I love everything about it right now. Yeah.
Sheena, when we see your Instagram profile, you have written life plus beauty. Any specific reason you have mentioned that?
Because it's literally just that. I started off thinking I want to be a beauty content creator, but I realized that I just like putting out my thoughts so much. I like putting out my opinions on things so much that I wasn't okay with just having my channel talking about beauty. So that's essentially why I did that. That's why it says beauty plus life, because I kind of added that a little later. I started with making beauty content, but then I was like, you know what? No, I think I want to talk more, and I want to feel comfortable doing that. So yeah, I think that's exactly why.
Sheena, you mentioned in your first answer that you were making videos on TikTok. At a time, TikTok got banned in India. So what was your reaction? How did you deal with it?
Honestly, it didn't affect me at all because I was just doing it for fun. I really was. And I had some 500 followers. It really didn't make a difference. But a lot of people blew up on TikTok, and I saw them, and I was like, oh my god, they're really having fun. Maybe I should just have fun. But I was too scared of being cringe, honestly. There were too many people around me who I was like, oh my god, they're looking. That's why TikTok was it was very hidden. And then the best TikToks, I was like, okay, I can post this on Instagram. Maybe the 10 people that follow me will find it funny. And I really used to overthink it a lot. So when TikTok got banned, I was like, I really just started enjoying a platform, and I was like, I didn't feel too judgmental of myself on that app, but I was like, oh my god, are you serious? It's getting banned. But then reels happened, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna make reels now, because when I started making content, even on TikTok or anywhere, short form video for that matter, it was never with the intention of oh my god, this is gonna be a career. I genuinely had no idea. I literally saw it as a proper career option literally just last year, honestly. My thought process was, I'm going to be doing a job and making content. So yeah, I never thought of it as a career, which is why TikTok getting banned really just didn't do much for me. I was like, okay, I'll just make it on Reels now because everyone wants to reduce our attention span. So sure, thanks. I'll do it on another app.
I was about to ask you that question. You even mentioned it, that it was the last year when you decided to go ahead with content creation as a career. So what was your family reaction? Since you mentioned that you were in job, what was your family reaction when you decided to go in a content creation as a career option?
Honestly, when I quit my job last year, I really thought that I will just join somewhere else and I'll still keep making content. But then I realized that, dude, I'm able to sustain my life pretty comfortably with just making content. and I'm enjoying it also. So why don't I just listen to my heart and don't fall into that entire like expectation that you should be working and this can't be real. Like it was more in my head than anybody else's. So finally, I think 3-4 mahine ho gaye the, and I was like, I don't think I want to find a job. Like, is it acceptable? And these are all conversations with myself. So I was like, okay, let me just really go ham with content. And then a couple of months later, I visited Pune. I'm from Pune. So I went home and I met my parents and I was like, so my parents asked me, what's up now? Like, how's your job? You were leaving. I was like, oh, dude, I left it. I haven't found another job. I'm just making content. And they were like, it's working. I'm like, yeah, it's doing pretty well. And I think it'll keep doing better. I have enough faith in myself. So they're like, very nice, cool. Yeah, my parents have kind of just trusted me with finding out a way to kill it in life. So I think they don't have that kind of, we don't have that relationship where they stop me or anything like that. It was like that in school, but then I think that changed pretty quickly once they saw that I'm a very sustainable, self-sustaining kind of person.
When we talk about content creation, social media comes with it like naturally. And social media is all about number game, the number of views, followers, and everything. Do you feel pressured?
I think it comes and goes. There was a phase where I would wake up and check my views. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it was not good. And then one day I was like, dude, what am I doing? This is not okay. Like, this is really not okay. This is not healthy for me. So it took all the energy in me to just not look. And somehow it didn't make a difference. Like, my account was growing at the same pace and it really didn't make a difference. So I think I come in and out of it. I feel pressure when I'm doubting myself. But the minute I remind myself that, you're doing this because you like doing it. And your audience is following you because they see what you like putting out. So it's really not going to make a difference in terms of like not getting the numbers, because I don't do this to go viral. I just want to have a channel of communication and put out my views and opinions. Jisko milta hai, who likes it, they like it. So yeah, honestly, there's no like straight yes or no answer to this. I think I just fall in and out of that phase. Sometimes I do feel pressure. Sometimes I'm like, it doesn't really matter.
Okay. But when we talk about content creation in social media industry, every day new influencers are coming, new content creators are coming. What does it take to stay relevant?
I feel like everyone asks this question. Honestly, does anyone know if they're relevant or not? I don't know. How is that a metric you can understand? I don't know how to quantify that unless you're like really, really big. And still, I feel like India's such a big country. You're relevant in a certain section of people. But we're so many people. We're like over 1 billion people. So you can't truly be relevant in that sense, right? It really depends where you are. Like, I'm relevant within my side of the internet, sure. But if I go on another side of the internet where it's all tech people or finance people, I'm not relevant at all. So, and like I said, I don't do this to have any kind of virality or fame. I do it just because I really like doing it. So, staying relevant, I think just stay authentic to your voice and then your audience sticks with you. So, or organically, you're just going to stay relevant in that section of the internet. Yeah.
Sheena, everybody's like creating the content. There are a number of beauty creators. So what is the USP of your content?
Literally what I said, like this, just authenticity. I feel like my tone of voice, my tonality, the way I talk is just, I think that is what makes people want to watch what I'm saying rather than my opinion. Because like I said, I don't think someone, when they're watching me, think, oh my God, she knows exactly what beauty product to use. I don't think that's the association my audience has with me. It's more like, I like how Sheena's looking, so what has she used? I want to know that. I don't think they come to me for a review. They'll come to me to just see what I'm like, what I'm doing, and oh, this looks nice. I want to know more about it. And I think I've somehow managed to tailor it that way. So yeah, I think my USP in that sense would just be talking about only things that I personally really like, and that moves into like brand collaborations as well, wherein I only talk about brands that I truly like. I make sure that I stay authentic to that.
My next question was about that. If you are getting a brand collaboration, which
Mm-hmm.
which is not up to the mark, which you do not agree
Mm-hmm.
with or something like that, but you are getting paid heavily, will you promote that?
I've said no to a lot of brands where I don't align with their either the product or usually with beauty, I try to put this across where I'm like, hey, I would like to use the product for a while and then talk about it. Unfortunately, with the way the industry is working right now, that is just not the norm. It's very normal to expect a creator to receive a product and just make a reel about it, which is why I do end up saying no to a lot of brands, and only the ones that are okay with this clause of me using the product and like truly liking it or not. This is specifically in terms with beauty. Um, I try working in that fashion, and yeah, like to answer your question, I have said no. I've said no to like a significant amount of money just because I'm not a fan of the brand or it's just not fitting well in my page. Yeah.
Sheena, when we talk about content creation, we always have inspirations in the industry. Who is your inspiration? Who do you look up to?
I think in India, the one person I really like is Kusha. I think the way she's diversified is really cool. Other than that, in terms of like how comfortable they are in their skin, I can't think of anyone other than Emma Chamberlain. I think I've watched only her. I don't consume a lot of content myself, so it's tough to find like someone that I really constantly watch and monitor. I really don't do that. But in terms of like career trajectory, I think these two people are people that I really admire. I think it's pretty cool where they've gotten in terms of their work.
Social media, when we talk about social media, it is must to talk about online scrutiny, the trolling, the negative comments. What do you think about it?
I'm very fortunate to like be able to say that I haven't gotten a lot of hate. And I think it's simply because I don't put out very aggressive opinions. I'm also very mindful in terms of what I put out. It's all in good humor. I'm not a very serious content creator, but that being said, I do get like some kind of hate because the general, like where I'm making say like a get ready with me video or something, there's always like those 10 men who are just like, why are you changing here, you change in your room, like things like that. It makes no difference honestly, because to cover up for that one hate comment, there's like 10 other people saying very nice things, so it's very easy to ignore it. That being said, sometimes a couple of DMs do get to me, and then I have fortunately people I can text and be like, dude, this is really mean, right? And then yeah, then it's okay. I get over it in a couple of hours.
If you have to say something to your trollers, what would you say?
I don't know, like type like longer hate comments so people have opinions and then they engage with that comment, and then there's like a whole conversation in my comment box which increases my engagement. I honestly really enjoy reading those because I'm like, oh my god, isne mere baare mein kuch bura bola, then someone's like no, and then someone's like, yeah, I agree with you. So I love reading that. I'm like, oh my god, they're having a conversation. Like my comment has become a chat box. I really enjoy that. Yeah, like just give me more engagement. I'll really enjoy it. Yeah.
So you recently worked in a music video. How did that happen? How was that entire experience?
I think it was only because of Instagram, because I found the song, I really liked it, and I posted a reel, and then the artists very kindly DM'd me, their team DM'd me rather, and they were like, oh, would you want to act? And I was like, I've never acted before, like, dude, I don't know. But then I was like, for sure, dude, I'm like very down to hear the script. Then we did a script reading, and I was like, this is really fun. Honestly, on the set, I was telling them, I'm not understanding why y'all have asked me to do this because I can't act. I've never acted. Not can't act because I figured out I can. It was not that tough. But I was like, I've never done this before. They were like, it's okay, we'll see. And I got a really cool vlog of it also. So yeah, it was actually really fun. And I was not very intimidated. I was a little nervous in the beginning, but the set was so fun. The crew was so kind. And yeah, it was a really, really cool experience.
When you are creating content for yourself, you are the writer, you are the director, you are the actor. And when you were working for someone else, there were directors, there were DOPs, and everything were different. How was that experience? How did that happen?
So fortunately, just a little before, a couple of months ago, I did do like a Maybelline digital ad. And that was actually my first experience being on set in front of a camera. But I think that was a little bit tougher than doing this music video because there were like dialogues and it had to be done in a very particular manner. I think that definitely, I'm a very quick learner, so that definitely prepared me for this experience. It is very, very different because I can see myself when I'm recording, and the edit is in my hand. I can like cut out the part where I've blinked weirdly or something like that when it's in my hands. But it's truly like I have no control over the final product that comes out of something of such a big production. So honestly, like when I saw the video, I was a little nervous. I was like, oh my god, what if I find like one place where I'm not looking good? Because we really are very critical of ourselves. But I watched and I was like, oh, this is really nice. They've really taken the effort into making me look nice. So it all just turned out really well. And I think getting over that criticism of yourself in your head, an experience like that is really helpful. Because when I'm making my own content, I'm extremely critical of myself. But letting go of that control really helps to get over that fear. Yeah, so I think that is a huge learning that I had from that experience.
Okay, so one advice you would like to give to budding creators?
Just like have fun with it. Genuinely, like, and the toughest part is to like not look at metrics. The toughest part is to like not compare yourself, because comparison is truly the thief of joy. Just don't compare yourself and don't get lost in like the entire numbers game, because it's really easy to see that you think one piece of content will do really well and then it doesn't, and then a piece of content that you didn't think much of can perform really well. It's truly like, and that's how you learn. Like now I know a reel that'll do well and a reel that won't, but I still have some days where a reel I thought would do well is not performing the way I thought it would. So just let go of that fear of like how will it do, what, like don't have that in mind. Just truly just create, and that's how you find your voice. Once you do that, it's just such a beautiful process. And just be patient and don't do it for the money, because that's not why you should do this. Yeah.
Okay, one beauty tip you would like to give to the people out there?
Use sunscreen. I say this to everyone. That's the biggest tip. Just use sunscreen. Like, it's okay if you don't wear any serum or nothing. Just please wear sunscreen. Sunscreen is really, really important.
Okay, so I have a basic rapid fire round for you. You need to be quick with your answers.
Okay. Let's talk, because I talk a lot. Yeah.
Suppose you are a paparazzi and you have to ask one question to any creator. Who would it be, and what would be the question?
I would ask Komal Pandey how her waist is snatched all the time. Yeah, it really was like makes me wonder.
Okay, one question you would like to ask Kusha Kapila?
How is she not nervous on Comicstaan? Because they're all so funny. Like, it must have been so intimidating. Yeah, that.
Okay, one content creator's content you can't tolerate.
Muskan Karya.
Okay, one content creator's content you really love.
I mean, I said Kusha, but Dolly also. I really like Dolly.
Okay, the most controversial content creator?
Sufi. Oh my god, of course. Sufi. It has to be Sufi.
The one underrated content creator?
Underrated dude, there are so many. I think this girl named Shaima. I don't think she's underrated anymore, but when I found her, I think I think she's, I don't know if she's big or not yet, but I think she's definitely underrated because the whole country and the world should know about her. I think she's so cool. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. That's it from our end. Thank you, Sheila.